Now this is really important. Why is it important, you say? Well, it's not that important. Something I found on the BBC. Another great source of nonsense. There is a theme here that I do like to shit all over old media outlets who like to shit all over new media outlets, because this is a war and they must be destroyed. So I see this caught my eye. See what it says here. What does that say? Could this be the cure for fake news? Most organisations have been fighting fake news when they see it. But what if there were a way to stop misinformation before it even starts to spread? Yes, that's right. A fake news vaccine is what they're talking about. Yes, they can try and vaccinate against fake news. I shit you not. Well, kind of. For decades, medicine has provided us with an easy way to prevent diseases. Vaccines. Most of us are familiar with how a vaccine works. It exposes our bodies to weakened versions of a virus to help us build antibodies against the real thing. Now common practice in GPs around the world, vaccination has all but extinguished some of the world's diseases of the last century, including measles and polio. And yes, it has. And as I have mentioned before, if you've been sharing anything that's anti-vaccination, now I do have some skepticism about vaccines. I'm skeptical about many things. But if you don't vaccinate your kids because you've seen some fucking post on Facebook and you share them, there is strong evidence to suggest that is perpetuated by Russian bots. Yes, the Russians don't want you to vaccinate your kids, so they die. So please vaccinate your children, okay? What you do to yourself is fine. Do what you want with your own body, but come on, these are your kids. Come on, man. Look into it. There's strong evidence that says, this anti-vaccination thing, it's been debunked so many times, and Russian bots have been. There's way more evidence to support that Russian bots have been pushing that narrative than there is for this whole, Trump election nonsense. That's just nonsense, right? So we're familiar with how vaccines work, right? Yeah, we know. I know, you know, we know. Okay. But could vaccines have applications beyond medicine? Could they? Like a final solution? Researchers like Sander van der Linden, must be Dutch, are working on a type of vaccination that could combat a very 21st century scourge. Fake news. It's kind of been a scourge for fucking centuries, really. It's now a name. There's now a name for it. This could work because misinformation behaves like a virus. Yes, that's why they call it viral, I suppose. False news stories spread faster, deeper and farther than true stories. Possibly. Probably because they're more fun. Maybe. I don't know if that's just an opinion. Cascading from host to host across Twitter. I see what they're doing there. Host to host. Like many infections are spread from host to host, like HIV. Whatever else is blood translating. That's good. Good writing there. Well done. Across Twitter hashtags. Yeah, host to host. Twitter hashtags. The diseased penis of the internet. WhatsApp groups and your great uncle Gavin's Facebook profile. Oh, you're in it though. Your great uncle Gavin. We've all got great uncles on Facebook, haven't we? Sharing fake news. Haven't you? My great uncle's been dead for fucking 30 years. To make things worse, a fake story is tenaciously persistent. If you try to debunk it, misinformation sticks with people. That's true, says Van der Linden. I agree with that. Who leads the social decision-making laboratory at the University of Cambridge. Oh, they have a social decision-making laboratory. I Great. So there's a social decision-making laboratory. That's the thing. Once it's integrated into the long-term memory, it becomes very difficult to correct it. Like Richard Gere and the hamster up the bottom. I like this. Oh, you might also like. So you want me to keep going. You want me to keep your click rate up by distracting me from your own story. Well done. So what can you do? Like Han Solo, you shoot first. Hey, pop culture. Yeah, well done. Throw in a fucking pop culture reference. Oh, and there's a link here, just in case you don't know what that means. Han shot first. Just in case you don't know what that is. Here's another link for you to find out. This whole article is already sending you on a rapid wormhole into the bullshit of the BBC. Fantastic. Well done, BBC. You have become BuzzFeed. You've wanted to become BuzzFeed for a long time. You are successful. Professionals in this field call the approach pre-bunking. Instead of waiting for false information to spread and then laboriously fact-checking and debunking it, researchers go for a preemptive strike that has the potential to shield your brain. Decades of research suggest that this approach works. Yes, I believe they called it censorship. Maybe. Psychologists first proposed inoculation in the 1960s, driven by fears of propaganda and brainwashing during the Cold War. But a 21st century version targets our modern misinformation landscape, one more preoccupied with political divisions and culture wars. Hot topic. Take climate change. More than 97% of climate scientists have concluded that humans are responsible for global warming, but large groups of society still have trouble believing it. When asked what percentage of climate change scientists agree that human-caused global warming is occurring, only 49% of Americans thought it was more than half, and only 15% answered correctly that it was more than 91%. The confusion reflects sophisticated campaigns aimed at sowing doubt among the public. Yeah, okay. The difficulty is that once doubt settles, it's hard to dislodge it. That is true. Van der Linden and his colleagues wondered what would happen if they reached people before naysayers did. Now it starts to sound problematic to me. They dug up a real-life disinformation campaign, the so-called Oregon Petition, which in 2007 falsely claimed that over 31,000 American scientists rejected the position that humans cause climate change. The team prepared 3 documents. First, they wrote a truth brief explaining that 97% of climate scientists agree that humans are responsible for climate change. They also prepared a counter brief revealing the flaws in the Oregon Petition. For instance, that among the petition's 31,000 names are people like the deceased Charles Darwin and the Spice Girls. Well, at least they had a sense of humour about it. And that fewer than 1% of the signatories are climate scientists. Finally, they surveyed 2,000 people. First, they asked them how big the scientific consensus on climate change is without looking at either document. And then they broke them into one group that saw the truth brief, one group that saw the Oregon Petition, and those who saw the truth brief before the petition. I need to pay more attention to this. I'm confused now. The results were intriguing. When participants were first asked about the scientific consensus on climate change, they calculated to be around 72% on average. They then changed their estimates based on what they read. Well, yes. When the scientists provided a group with the truth brief, the average rose to 9%. For those who only read the Oregon Petition, the average sank to 63%. Well, yes, because I like the way they sort of present that as going, well, this is what happened when one set of information was presented and another set of information was presented. Yeah, you're going to believe what you've read. That's kind of how it goes, isn't it? The average remained unchanged from participants' original instinct, 72%. I didn't expect the potency of misinformation, says Van der Linden. The misinformation managed to completely neutralize the correct data. Yeah. What it took you to do that, to work out that people just believe what they read. Wow, you didn't need to do that. That's like common knowledge, isn't it? When a group of participants read the truth brief and also were told that politically motivated groups could try to mislead the public on topics like climate change, the vaccine. This calculated average rose to almost 8%. Right, okay. So this goes on. Let's see why it works, and then I'll go into it. Humans usually rely on mental shortcuts to think. The world is full of information and our brains has limited time and capacity to process it. Yes. If you see a wrinkled, grey-haired man and someone tells you he is a senior citizen, your brain accepts that and carries on. Yes, well, this is something that's in a good book called Thinking Fast and Slow. I recommend you read it. It's kind of like a marketing book because you can use it for, it's sort of aim. I discovered it because I was looking for business marketing books and stuff. But it's also something you can apply to. It's across the board psychology of how stuff affects your brain. So when they're saying, you know, we have constructs, so we know, we're told that this is this, and our brain associates it. You know, this is a pen, it writes, kind of thing. If you see a wrinkled, grey-haired man and someone tells you he's a senior citizen, your brain accepts that and carries on. So if you constantly have something drilled into your head, I haven't even read the rest of it. So if you're constantly told something, like, say Coca-Cola, you know, the craziest brand on planet Earth. Coca-Cola says Coca-Cola will cure AIDS. Coca-Cola will cure AIDS. If you got an email every day, Coca-Cola will cure AIDS, it will cure AIDS, you're going to believe that Coca-Cola cures AIDS, basically. It's just bang, 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 bang. The more your brain is told to associate something with it, with an image or with a concept, then you believe it. So yeah, when you constantly have stuff pumped into you, yes, you do believe it. So people working with misinformation know this and use it to their advantage. For instance, the drafters of the Oregon petition falsely claimed 31,000 scientists supported the claim because we tend to trust experts. And here we are reading something written by an expert that we should trust. Oh, gets muddy, doesn't it? When information feels easy to process, people tend to nod along. Yes, true, says Newman, who co-authored a review on how to deal with false information. Before believing a piece of new information, most people scrutinize it, and in at least 5 ways they found. We usually want to know if other people believe it. Yes, confirmation bias, echo chambers. Yeah, if there is evidence supporting this new claim, if it fits with our previous knowledge of the matter. Yes. So yeah, your previous association, this grey-haired old man. Yeah. If the internal argument makes sense and whether the source is credible enough. There's some flying thing in here. It better not bite me because I am not happy with that. But at times we rely too much on shortcuts to answer these 5 questions. Our evaluation is not as thorough. We do not ask ourselves, how many of those are actually climate scientists? True. Instead, we just accept the number 31,000 scientists because it feels about right. Yes. Psychologists call this more automatic way of thinking, System 1. Yeah, they are kind of stealing stuff from that book, Thinking Fast and Slow, basically. We're not stealing it, they're using it. I think they should reference it. So this is fertile ground for fake news. However, the teams working on misinformation vaccine believe their work allows for deeper thinking to kick in. Inoculation forces our brain to slow down. There is a warning element. To appreciate this, it might be helpful. Again, another correction I've had to make. Come on, you give me money too. It would be helpful to understand how a vaccine, the actual medical procedure, not the misinformation metaphor, works. Each time we receive a shot, we are showing our body a sample of a disease, a biological mugshot, small enough to avoid feeling really ill but sufficiently strong to provoke a reaction. This interloper startles our immune system into action and it starts building defenses or antibodies. When we come across the real disease, our body recognizes it from the mugshot. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of this. So Cambridge researchers went back to the lab until they came up with a new idea. What if we taught people the tactics used in fake news industry? The results was a role-playing game in which participants could play one of four characters, one being an alarmist to impersonating a clickbait tycoon. The game focused on fake news strategies rather than topics. Once the offline fake news game proved effective on a test with Dutch high school students, they scaled it up to an online version called Bad News with the help of collective drug. Navigating the online game takes less than 15 minutes, but it is a surreal experience. You launch a fake news site, become its editor-in-chief, purchase an army of Twitter bots, and direct your followers against a well-meaning fact checker. Well, of course. By the time I surpassed 7,000 followers, I felt slightly uneasy at how addictive it was. Throughout the game, you learn 6 different techniques used by fake news tycoons: impersonation, emotional exploitation, polarization, conspiracy, discredit, and trolling. The idea is that the next time someone tries to use tactics against me on social media, I should recognize them and be able to call them out. Or at least an alarm will go off somewhere in my brain. An automatic and easy System 1 process will take the backseat of my mind, subs to System 2 for closer scrutiny. One can only hope. It seems a bit counterintuitive to fight fake news by teaching people how to become a misinformation mogul. I don't think that works. I don't think teaching people how to manipulate will help them recognize when they're being manipulated. People are too simple for that, and it's too much and lazy, to be honest. It's too much effort to go into research and stuff. You can recognize a lot of fake shit, because there should be triggers anyway. But then you have to make the effort, like who shared it? Yeah, guaranteed who shared it. But then I know so many people who come across as very not well to do. They come across as people who should be trusted, people who grandstand like they know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're constantly sharing fucking nonsense all the time. And the majority of the time, there doesn't need to be a vaccine. Like, I don't think doing that. There's a rule of thumb: don't believe anything. Don't believe it. Just do some research. This is why. See what are they call? They're not calling. I don't know what they're calling for anything, but. See here, it says ultimately it will also have to pass the test of time. Researchers do not know how long the benefits of inoculation would last, if the inoculation works at all. As a virus, disinformation moves in a rapidly changing environment, it adapts quickly to new conditions. Now, I think what was interesting was something I've seen being talked about, with Donald Trump and modern media, is like he figured out the best system is just keep going, bam, 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 bam. A lot of people of Charisma on Command do a very good thing, where they look at how Donald Trump can just move past his controversies and then just bring something else up. He acknowledges it and then moves on. He doesn't dwell on it, because that's how the news cycle works. It's pat, pat, pat. What's the new thing today? Pat, pat, pat. It goes from Russia to Stormy Daniels to fucking little immigrant kids crying, to Donald Trump throwing out that Acosta guy. It's just bang, 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 bang. No one has any time to sink their teeth into anything, because the news cycle just goes. So the idea of inoculizing you, giving a vaccine to fake news so you can spot it, will not make any difference, because there's no time. It's all about time. We're totally impatient. We're fed so much stuff that we don't need. I think tonight has been a good example of, you know, how much crap we're fed that we spend time on. I mean, I know I spent time on it, but I'm trying to like make it entertaining and informative. That's why it's called knowledge and ignorance. Look, because straight up, like, Kim Kardashian using a filter on her family causes, you know, is news. Apparently that's news. That's news. Do you see what I'm saying? That is news. That's what people are going to be talking about. It's just bang, 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 bang. We get fed an overload of information because clicks is money, and it has to be updated, and you can't keep up because the BBC have been called out on this many times as well themselves, which is interesting. You know, they change articles. Some people will change articles. So, you know, you'll see something on the Monday. Like I said, this is why people think the Mandela effect's real, because they would have read something on the Monday, and literally a couple of hours later on the Monday, the headline would have changed a bit, and the information in there would have changed a bit. And then by Tuesday, loads of stuff's been redacted, headlines totally changed, because it's all online, you can edit it. And that's why it's good that there are some websites out there that will show you older versions of news articles before they change it. It's rapidly, even one news story changes. It just happens so quick. It's just move on. We've got no time just to sit back and go, hold on, what was that again? You know when someone's fucking, like, it's like someone who's got verbal diarrhea, who's snorted shitloads of coke, and just in your face going, you know, when you ever had one of them? You ever had one of them conversations where you're just waiting to talk, going, no, shh, and you're like, I'm just waiting for you to shut the fuck up because I need to go. You're just fucking spitting machine gun bullets at you. Hold up, that's what it is. And I think, like, people don't even need drugs. Be like, if anyone says years ago, you know, be like, oh, what's cocaine like? Like, oh, you know, it's like this. You don't need to explain to people who haven't done cocaine what cocaine's like, or what speed's like, or what crystal meth is like. They're fucking on it. They're just on their phone. It's like, they know. They're living it. I thought my phone bounced on the floor there. That's what the news cycle is like. It's just bang, 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 bang. You got no time. And what, I don't know, the original reference I was trying to make is like someone's just talking verbal diarrhea, like, and then you'll get something like, and then my dad fingered me in the asshole. Like, whoa, back up. What was the bit about your dad? And what was that? No. Now I'm talking about that holiday I had where I found a horse. What? No. Back up to the bit about your dad. No. Now I'm talking about, you know, the kayaking expedition I had. No. Now I'm talking about my ex-boyfriend. No, not that ex-boyfriend. The other ex-boyfriend. Like, you can't back up and go, yo, what? This thing seemed quite important. This thing seemed fucking crazy. You say what now? What was this thing? That bit about your dad fingering your bum hole, that sounded pretty deep. Can we talk about that? No, we ain't got time. That was 15 seconds ago. We got to move on. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what the news cycle is. It's just bang, 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 bang. There's no way you can inoculate it. Not when it's that fast. Not when all these, especially online media outlets that are just, you know, they're dying on their ass. Vice are dying. You know, so many big organisations are dying. You've got these people that have to write blogs every day. I don't know if you've ever been on Vice.com. Is a very good example of, like, you just read through the articles they have on there that are just about fucking nothing. They're just pieces of fluff. These people get paid, what, like $10 to write a certain amount of words, and they have to do loads. There's not enough money in it. They just constantly content, click. That's why you get all this flood of nonsense. I mean, this is interesting, but this is fluff and nonsense anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, they did this experiment on how to stop fake news, but you haven't really dived into it deeply, have you? And just seen the fact that all you see is a fucking headline. There's a headline, and little bits of a headline. Like, there's something you learn. Even years ago when I was doing a home writing course on how to, how you write articles, and it's like after the third paragraph is where you find the information you need. It's the first two paragraphs is fluff. It's just blah, 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 blah. So if you ever read an article, especially like one that's about, say there's someone got stabbed, so it's like pensioner stabbed to death, say it's like that, and you always want to know, well, where the hell was that? When was that? Who done it? Like, you always got down to the third or fourth paragraph, and then that's when they'll mention the police commissioner said this, and the victim said this, and it happened at this time. But to find out where it was and blah blah blah, you've got to go down a few paragraphs. Like, no one's got fucking time for that. So what I'm saying is, you're scanning. You're constantly scanning. Even with articles, you're scanning for this bit. You just want the chunks, because I ain't got time to read this whole fucking article. It's not like Dostoevsky novel, is it? Do you know what I mean? And that's part of the huge problem. They've got too much to read, and yet we don't need to read fucking 80% of it. We don't need to read, like, nothing. You know. What did constantly reading about Madeleine McGann do for us, or for her? Or for her parents, whatever you think about them, what did it do for anybody? It did nothing. She's still not been found. We are none the wiser. Think of the thousands and millions of opinion pieces and articles and everything that got written about Madeleine McGann for years. What benefit did it give anybody? How did it benefit you? Did you get any benefit from it? No. Did she? No. Did the parents? No. No one benefited from any story written about Madeleine McGann, because everyone knows you don't go leave your kids on their own. Like, that's not like a sneak diss against the McGanns. I'm just saying, if there's any lesson to be learned, it's a lesson that most of us fucking know that haven't got kids. We didn't learn anything from it. It did not benefit us or her or the parents or anybody. No one benefited from that. And yet we read about it. Like, why the hell were we reading constantly going over and over that stuff, and yet other stuff is like, why? Like, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. The amount of news stories that get pumped, what's it benefiting? How does it help you? It's just something to pass the time. And yet there's all this important stuff. Rapid fire social media information can be good in certain ways. I think it was a good one. It's like, I follow 50 Cent and Gary Vaynerchuk on Instagram. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk, like, can be a bit cringy, but it's always proper motivational stuff going. Stop being a fucking loser. Go make some. Do what you love. Fucking go get it. Do this, like. And it's rapid. It's like, and it's always like, yeah. That is way more beneficial, just to give you that little bit of dopamine just smacked in the head, going, oh fuck me, yeah, today's the day. Come on, let's go, bitch. And I follow 50 Cent because it's just a joke a minute. He is still the world's greatest troll. Beautiful troll. And that's like, yeah, 50, ignorant cunt. Brilliant. That benefits me way more. Following girls with big asses on Instagram benefits me more. Why? Because seeing big asses gives me a boost, gives my brain a boost, which makes you live longer. Like, it's true. It's scientifically proven. All this other crap doesn't benefit nothing. It doesn't help you. It helps nobody except the piece of shit that wrote it, that couldn't be bothered to do something better with themselves. Man, I know drug dealers are more noble than these fucks who write these articles. I'm not talking about this article. This is okay because it's the BBC. What I'm saying is, it's just all the just bang. How much news do you fucking need? You don't. There's so much great stuff going on. Like today, I walked to the beach. I got shown these little, and I was looking at it, and I was like, there's these little crabs. in shallow water like this, and they're going like going mad quick, like what? They're everywhere. And this girl, she picked him up, put him in my hand, this little crab, and it wasn't moving. I was like, this thing's dead. She's like, no, it's not dead. I said, this thing is dead. And after about 3 minutes, something just came alive. It was like, I was like, whoa. And then I was looking at the sand, and there was like these weird wormy creatures, and these little hermit crabs, and these other crabs, and these other little creatures. Like, there is so much shit going on here. I have no idea what any of it is, but it's fucking amazing. I was just looking at it going, ugh. Like, that is out there. That's out there. Is it beneficial to your life? Who knows? But it's better. It's better than this shit. It's better than this shit. Go out and look at a sunset. Go fuck your girlfriend. Fuck your boyfriend. Suck off your mistress. Whatever you want to do. It's better than having your brain just pump through nonsense. Just grrr, grrr. Oh, Kim Kardashian did what with her Instagram filter? Fucking burn her alive. Like, come on, man. It doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit me. It doesn't benefit them. Do you know what I mean? Just stop. It's just, there is no cure for this fake news stuff. Because half the news isn't even news. I like the way I've managed to go full circle with this. It's good. But it's not news, is it? It's not news. A hell of a lot of news isn't news. It's speculation. A whole lot of speculation. Even with the Salisbury poisonings, it was just speculation after speculation after speculation. People going, no, it didn't happen. It's a red light. Oh, no, it did. And then they were speculating, going, where was the poison administered? And then, you know, you get like this big fucking graphic chart. I was like, well, was it put on the door handle? Was it put in their soup? Was it put in the milkshake? Was it put in this cat's fucking behind this cat's ears that he gave a little scratch on this CCTV? Where was the poison? You know, speculate. It's just speculation. It's like, we don't need the news to speculate. We can speculate. We can sit down and be bored in the pub and just go, yeah. So where do you think they put the poison in yet? We don't need you to be the fucking man in the pub as a news organisation going, well, they might have done it here, or they might have done it there, or they might have done it over here. They might have done it this way with a pipette, a little pipette on the side of a fucking saucer. Or they might have thrown a dart, a little tiny dart. Oh, there's the poison administered. We don't need you doing that. That's what we're supposed to do. We're the fucking numbnuts public. We're just talking. Yeah, what do you reckon? 9/11, inside job. Yeah, I reckon. We don't need you speculating. That's not what you're supposed to do. But you need to fill. You need to give us more. Remember the old saying, quality over quantity? Can we please fucking bring that back? We really need that right now. We need it. Otherwise, this is the fucking end. And all I'm going to do is grab the popcorn and a couple of fucking Cheers beers. Sit back and watch you all set each other on fire. And I will be laughing. And I'll be having a great time. But I will feel sad inside. And this is why I'm glad I do not have children.